We're back with Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Is it time, do you believe, as an Iraq veteran, you've seen war up close, to consider that recommendation from those 51 U.S. career diplomatic professionals?
No. What they're proposing is exactly the wrong thing to do.
Why?
Because it would escalate the current war, the illegal counterproductive war that the U.S. is waging to overthrow the Syrian government of Assad. It's something that Secretary Clinton is proposing that she would do as commander-in-chief, as president, which is implement a no-fly zone, which essentially would worsen the humanitarian crisis. It would escalate this war, worsen the refugee crisis, and it would take us directly into a violent conflict with Russia, the other nuclear power in the world. We've got to learn from the past, Wolf, and this is what's most important here. Nothing appears to have been learned from Iraq and the overthrow of Saddam Hussein and the failure of that country that came after that and the strengthening of al-Qaeda and ISIS. No one appears to have learned from what happened in Libya with the overthrow of Gaddafi. We just had the CIA director testifying yesterday that ISIS' strongest and most dangerous foothold exists in Libya, a failed nation, tremendous loss of life, and now ISIS stronger there today. What we will see in Syria, if this escalation were allowed to occur, if we continue down the path that we're on, would be that same outcome. Stronger ISIS, stronger al-Qaeda, greater threat to the region and to the world. What to speak of the worsened humanitarian refugee crisis and genocide that would come about as a result of that.
The CIA Director, William Brennan, yesterday testified before the Senate Intelligence Committee that ISIS today, despite some losses on the battlefield, as far as its global terror capability, is just as powerful, just as strong as ever. You agree with that assessment?
I think so, yes. If you look at the many different ways that ISIS and groups like ISIS are continuing to launch attacks, we've got to look at not just what's happening in Syria and Iraq, but unfortunately we can see what happened in places like Orlando just earlier this week. I've introduced legislation in the House that would take away all funding for this counterproductive regime change war in Syria that we're waging, urging my colleagues to support this because this is the only way that we can prevent Syria from really getting into a place that's far much worse and from getting our country, again, into a direct conflict with Russia.